We all have poor habits. We occasionally feel bad about them. However, some undesirable habits, when practiced in moderation, may really be beneficial to our psychological or physical health. Most negative habits improve our mood and reduce stress, at least in the short term, but they become less beneficial as we engage in them more frequently. Some of these unhealthy habits become addictions, with the short-term advantages outweighing the long-term drawbacks. However, there are 10 frequent flaws that may be useful. 1. Fidgeting is a good way to burn calories. Fidgeting may be irritating to individuals and those around them, but it does burn calories and expends energy. Fidgeting is one of a variety of non-exercise activity thermogenesis activities, along with walking, gardening, typing, tidying up, and so on. NEAT, or non-eating, non-sleeping, non-sporting activity, is defined as any activity that is not eating, sleeping, or physical activity. Fidgeters burn roughly 350 calories every day, according to a variety of studies conducted by obesity expert James Levine at the Mayo Clinic. This is because fidgeting boosts a person's metabolism by stimulating neurochemicals in the body, which boosts the body's ability to turn fat into energy. So, whether you're a restless doodler, a compulsive foot tapper, or a compulsive thumb twiddler, keep in mind that all of these activities burn calories. 2. Gum chewing. Gum chewing improves concentration and alertness. It's not beautiful to watch someone chew gum, but if English football managers are any indication, chewing gum is a stress-relieving hobby. Indeed, there appear to be numerous cognitive advantages. Kinya Kubo and colleagues reported in the book Senescence and Senescence-related disorders that chewing gum before performing a cognitive task increases blood oxygen levels in the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus, which are important brain structures involved in learning and memory, and thus improves task performance. Chewing gum, according to Kubo, could be a simple, drug-free way to aid people with senile dementia and stress-related diseases, which are typically linked to cognitive failure. Another study by Yoshiyuki Hirano and colleagues found that chewing gum improves thinking and alertness, with chewers having 10% faster reaction times than non-chewers. Chewing has an effect on up to 8 parts of the brain, most notably the ones that control attention and movement, according to the researchers. The consequences of chewing on reaction time are considerable, said Andy Smith of Cardiff University. Perhaps it was by chance that football managers came up with the idea of chewing gum, but they appear to be on the correct track. 3. Playing video games can help with pain relief. Many people who do not play video games consider it a potentially addictive waste of time. While excessive gaming may cause difficulties for a small percentage of people, there is a lot of scientific evidence that video games can be beneficial. Children with cancer who play video games after chemotherapy need less pain medication, according to several studies. Burn sufferers and people with back problems have both benefited from video games as a pain-relieving therapy. Burn sufferers and people with back problems have both benefited from video games as a pain-relieving therapy. Playing video games is an engaging, fascinating pastime that serves as a cognitive distractor task, diverting the player's attention away from other activities. Pain has a strong psychological component. People feel less pain when they're doing something that takes up all of their cognitive thinking space. Many studies have also shown that playing video games improves hand-eye coordination and reaction times, as well as providing educational benefits. 4. Eating snot aids in immune system strengthening, maybe. What do you think it's like to see someone pick their nose and then consume what they find? Disgust? Contempt? Amusement? Friedrich Bischinger, an Austrian lung expert, declared in 2008 that it was beneficial to your health. He stated that those who pick their noses are healthier, happier, and more in tune with their body than those who don't, and that eating the dried remains of what you pull out of your nose is a fantastic way to boost your immune system. He stated that the nose acts as a filter, collecting a large amount of germs, and that when this mixture reaches the intestines, it acts as medicine. People who pick their nose and eat it get a free natural immune system boost, he explained. I propose a novel strategy in which children are encouraged to pick their noses. It's a perfectly natural reaction, and it's also a smart one from a medical standpoint. He went on to say that if individuals could do it secretly, that would be better. Scott Napper, a scientist at the University of Saskatchewan, shares this viewpoint. He hypothesized that improved hygiene has resulted in an increase in allergies and autoimmune illnesses, and that eating snot could help the immune system by ingesting small, harmless amounts of microorganisms. Biting one's fingernails has been linked to the same notion, as the behavior transfers germs straight into one's orifices. 5. Daydreaming. It can help you solve problems. Daydreaming can take up to a third of our waking hours and is sometimes misinterpreted as a symptom of lethargy, inattention, or procrastination. When we daydream, however, the executive network in our brain is highly active, according to study. While daydreaming, Kalina Christoph and colleagues discovered activity in multiple brain regions, including those involved with complex problem-solving, according to a study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. During a daydream, these regions were more active than during ordinary duties. It is thought that when a person employs conscious thought, their thinking can become rigid and constrained. The findings imply that daydreaming is an important cognitive state in which people unknowingly ruminate about difficulties in their life while diverting their attention away from present tasks. You may not be reaching your immediate goal, say, reading a book or paying attention in class, when you daydream, Christoph adds, but your mind may be using that time to address more significant questions in your life, such as growing your job or personal relationships. Daydreaming, according to Eric Klinger of the University of Minnesota, also has an evolutionary purpose. When people are focused on one job, daydreaming can serve as a reminder of other, related goals so they don't lose track of them. 6. Swearing. It helps to ease pain and work stress. Despite the fact that profanity has become more prevalent, most people still believe it is a negative habit. Swearing, on the other hand, has been found in studies to help with pain relief. Results from a study led by Richard Stevens of Keele University, UK, and published in Neuroreport indicated that people who swore could bear the discomfort of immersing their hand in a pail of ice-cold water approximately 50% longer than those who didn't. Nearly 2 minutes for those that swore compared to 1:15 for those that said a neutral, non-swear word instead. Stevens came up with the study idea after inadvertently striking his thumb with a hammer while constructing a garden shed and discovering that swearing helped relieve the pain. Swearing, according to the researchers, may stimulate our natural fight or flight reaction by downplaying a weakness or threat in order to deal with it. However, there appears to be a catch. Swearing appears to be useful in reducing pain only if it is a common occurrence. Swearing is an emotional language, but if people use it too much, it loses its emotional value and is less likely to help them cope with grief, according to Stevens. Yehuda Baruch of the University of East Anglia found that regular cursing expressed and strengthened camaraderie among employees in a study published in the Leadership and Organization Development Journal. Employees were able to express frustration and build social bonds through their use of profanity. 7. Being a mess can help you be more creative. A disorganized workstation or bedroom is often interpreted as an indication of disorganization. However, new research from Kathleen Voss and colleagues at the University of Minnesota Carlson School of Management, published in Psychological Science, reveals that being messy can increase creativity. For the publication, physical order encourages healthy choices, generosity, and conventionality, whereas disorder produces innovation. Voss and her colleagues conducted a variety of studies. In one study, 48 people were randomly allocated to either a messy or a clean room. The participants were invited to come up with as many ping-pong ball uses as they could and write them down. The degree of creativity of the participants' responses was then judged by independent judges. Participants in both the tidy and untidy rooms came up with the same amount of ideas, but those who came up with ideas in the chaotic room were more innovative. Those who were in the dirty room were 28% more creative on average and 5 times more likely to come up with very innovative ideas. Voss came to the conclusion that disorder and creativity are tightly linked, and that although cleaning up has its advantages, tidy spaces may be too conventional to allow inspiration to flow. 8. Sleeping in reduces the risk of heart attacks and strokes. While the cliché "the early bird catches the worm" may be accurate, the proverb "early to bed, Early to wake may not be getting up too early in the morning, according to Mayuko Kadano of the Kyoto Prefectural University of Medicine, can have major health implications. Kadano has led a variety of research projects on sleep and its impact on health. Individuals who got up before 5 a.m. and engaged in rigorous activity had a 1.7 times higher risk of high blood pressure and were twice as likely to develop cardiovascular disease as those who got up 2 to 3 hours later, according to a study of 3,017 healthy adults. Only the moment of waking up made a difference, not the quantity of hours slept. The findings, according to Kadano, were contrary to the widely recognized belief that early birds are in better health. We need to figure out what's causing this and whether or not exercising after getting up early is useful. According to a Stanford study, the most restorative sleep occurs between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. More general studies have discovered that obtaining adequate sleep might help people minimize stress and improve their memory. In short, it's preferable to wake up when your body is ready rather than when your alarm clock goes off. 9. Gossiping. It strengthens friendships while also relieving tension. Gossiping is sometimes viewed as harmful and untrustworthy behavior, but most people seem to enjoy it, especially when it involves someone else's tragedies. We enjoy hearing about other people's issues for a variety of reasons, one of which is that it makes us feel better about ourselves. And there is rising psychological evidence that gossiping has benefits, such as assisting us in bonding with others, boosting cooperation and friendship, and learning about cultural norms. These gossip side effects make us feel wonderful, reducing stress, tension, and anxiety. According to a recent study published in Psychological Science by Stanford University's Matthew Feinberg and colleagues, gossip and ostracism can have favorable consequences in group contexts. Groups that allow their members to gossip maintain collaboration and prevent selfishness better than those that don't, says Feinberg. Groups that can talk and ostracize untrustworthy individuals perform even better. While both of these behaviors have the potential to be misunderstood, the data imply that they also perform vital functions for communities and society. Gossip is what makes human civilization as we know it conceivable, says Oxford evolutionary psychologist Robin Dunbar, because language is primarily employed for the exchange of social information and such issues are so immensely essential. 10. Burping and farting are helpful in reducing bloating and stomach pain. Both activities are necessary for optimum gastric health and are a typical component of the body's digesting process. They help expel undesirable gas that has built up inside the stomach. Farting is especially useful for bloating relief. Stopping oneself from farting can be excruciatingly unpleasant. You don't belch and the gas sits on the stomach. The valve that separates the gullet and the stomach relaxes, allowing stomach acid to splash up into the gullet, creating heartburn, says Nick Reed, a British gastroenterologist. We expel wind for a reason, it builds in the intestine and we need to get rid of it, says the author. Holding it back might also cause discomfort. Metropolitan Railway Syndrome, as a co-worker put it, all these commuters suffered agony and bloating because they were too ashamed to blow wind on public transportation. All of this leads to the conclusion that not burping or farting should be seen as a bad habit. It's better out than in, one of my aunts used to tell me.